Greetings and welcome back to day 2 of my 14-day spiritual fast for getting greater clarity over the next phase of my life. And um, just wanting to do a quick check-in as I'm kind of trying to get a format for these videos as I'm doing them. So I kind of wanted to first start by sharing, just how the fast is going today. Um, yeah, yesterday everything went well, felt really good, went to sleep, had a nice meditation. This morning I woke up feeling as expected on day 2 of the fast, a bit more tired, a bit more lethargic. Needed a couple hours after waking up to just kind of get energy moving in the body. Um, I went for a short walk and just kind of got things flowing. That helped a lot. And did another sun bath and Shivambu bath. So those always I find very powerful and important. And um, yeah, and from there, I guess I kind of want to lead into one of the things I want to touch on in today's video is the importance of nature and getting outside and sun baths when you're fasting. Um, it's highly recommended when you're fasting to try to be outside as much as possible, even if you're just laying outside and with no energy. Being outside makes a big difference because on a subtle level, like previous videos we've been talking about, our body by design is seeking to promote the greatest health, the greatest amount of vitality in this body, and our body communicates with nature and the environment. So in the fastest state, that communication is much cleaner, it's much smoother, it's not distorted by processed foods, chemicals, and all the different things that the system feeds us in the world today. So sunbathing, I think, is a really, really important one whenever it's available because when we feel bad during a fast, it's because the toxins are flowing through our bloodstream and in the process of being expelled out the body. So, in that sense, when we sunbathe, the rays of the sun are penetrating through our skin or through our pores and are literally burning up those toxins. So when we're feeling weak and we're sunbathing during the fast, it's helpful because those toxins are in the bloodstream. The sun is able to, you know, to to burn them up, to roast them, and it helps us to kind of overcome those weak moments better. So just laying outside right now for 30, 40 minutes and feeling better now, feeling more energetic, feeling more grounded now, and I highly recommend daily sun baths, fasting or not fasting, really, but especially when fasting. I think it's a really important tip to go deeper with your fast to get more results from your fast in a shorter duration of time. Um, Daily exercise is another important thing. Uh, just doing whatever you can each day. Some days you may have more energy, you want to do a longer run. Some days you can just do a short walk, just around your house or a close by trail or something. Be flexible with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, and allow nature, who is really the one um, doing the work in this process, right? It's not like we our digestion. It feels like we ourselves are the ones cleaning out our colon. We're not doing that. We're just stepping back and saying, hey, we're going to give you, the body, nature, its space to purify and to level up this vessel by the divine design. And it's beautiful when we can do that and when we can trust that divine process of nature, the wisdom guided process to promote the greatest vitality in our vessel. So that's just been really huge for me. And then another thing I wanted just to talk about, as I've been sharing how this fast is really important for me and gaining greater clarity on um, the next steps in my life and just how to bring everything together. For those who know, I've been working on developing an intentional community for the last 8 years. It's the mission of my life. It's what I've been guided to do by the masters I follow, um, and I've always been trying to figure out how to bring my personal discipline and all that into the picture because for me, I'm a very service oriented person, very much a mission driven person. And um, for me, as I just want to serve this work, I just want to serve the great masters of the light. And so for me, I have just been feeling called as well to come back to my roots of fasting, come back to my roots of fruitarian, and just really ground and lock myself into those things, in a way to serve as a better example. And I guess that's just what's been feeling called, is that you need to step forward as a living example of the culture in which these communities that I'm working with to develop into, to grow into, because um, for me, the communities that I'm working on developing are models of higher age civilization, higher age living, something that the world has no idea of in today's society. And so, to really serve as an example, we really need to do it properly and completely, meaning we can't leave any stone unturned, from from poisonous foods to toxic laundry products, all of the broad range of the system and all the ways that we're being poisoned every single day. And so we're essentially trying to create a community that, instead of sending out poisons and poisoning people, it's sending out healing light. It's healing people's, awakening people up to a higher reality, to our divine design. And so for me, I'm really feeling guided and called to step up more as an example in the space for this new civilization that I think we're all tuning into. It's not like I have this vision no one else has. I think we're all tapping into, there's another way to live, and the way we're living right now is not the way. And nature is part of that way, simplicity is part of that way, meditation is part of that way. And um, it's beautiful to see that process. And I think we're all trying to tap back into what is the original divine design that the creator made for the human existence, for the human incarnation. And for me, I always tap back into Genesis. And Genesis to me is like the best scriptural breakdown of God giving man the assignment to steward the earth, giving man fruit for food and herbs for medicine, for healing when needed. Um, in that space, you can also see that the relationship that Adam had with the animals, that Adam and Eve had with the animals, was beautiful. It was the communication, ability to connect, the the safety and assurance that animals felt in the presence of Adam and Eve. And so all these different things, like, kind of, for me, are little puzzle pieces of, for me, I want to build communities that represent gardens of Eden. And starting with myself and really being a clear example of that light that we're trying to build and manifest through communities, has kind of what culminated into this fast is, okay, God, what's greater? What's this next state? What's this next stage of my evolution look like? And gaining greater clarity in that. But what has come to me is, as I said, this importance of setting the personal example to my own life, my own spiritual practice, my routine, my discipline. And I'm feeling called to also to create a community or a culture online around this, because I feel that right now the world is very fragmented. Truth is very fragmented intentionally. And so, there are some people who meditate daily, very disciplined, but are pretty lax when it comes to clean eating principles. There are some people who are really clean eating but don't meditate, and all these different things. Some people who understand about the straw man, and that we are not the name on our birth certificate, and but they don't have any understanding about meditation. So all these little different things, or little different pieces of the puzzle that people have found and are trying to bring into the world and solve. And they may be making some progress, but because it's fragmented, the system can dilute the energy, so that disperse the energy, excuse me, to they can disperse the energy so that no real momentum builds. But the vision of this is, what if we bring all the pieces together into a culture, a divine culture, that's what I want to call it, a divine culture designed to bring about natural man, natural woman, Adam and Eve, in that state of consciousness that was had in the garden. and create communities of like communities like these places that can almost manufacture, because the environment is so pure, it can almost manufacture these sort of um, natural individuals totally attuned to spirit and nature. So the big work of creating these communities for these places to create these divinely guided children of spirit, these children of Eden, um, is to, like as I said, to start this online community and just focus it, because there's a lot of pieces here, right? And so let's kind of look at it. And so I want to kind of create concentric rings, starting first from the individual, because society is really built on individuals. As we say, society is built on families, and families are built on individuals, right? So in this sense, it's important we start with ourselves. And are we tuned into the new earth? Are we tuned into the new civilization that is manifesting right now as we speak? Are we tuned into that blueprint? And if we're not, then how can we tune into that blueprint? So that's really the purpose of this first step. And so, okay, are you meditating? Are you cleaning? Have you cleaned your body? Are you cleaning your body? How are you leveling yourself up as a human being so that you can be both an example and an usher for this new civilization, for this new age, this new earth that we all are craving, we all want. And so in this online community, I want to offer space for practitioners to come together who understand the importance of these practices and discipline. That discipline equals freedom, self-control equals freedom. And when we start there, we can develop the power within ourselves so that the next steps can naturally unfold to where, okay, let's connect with like-minded people so that we can purchase land and build food forests, plant fruit trees so that we can sustain this discipline, because that's really the natural progression. When you realize I need to change where I'm living and you start to make those changes, then you start to see, wait a second, there's so many factors, external factors that make it harder to follow this lifestyle. So what if I could change my environment so where these external factors, instead of making it harder to follow a clean, healthy, balanced spiritual lifestyle, a God-centered life, because the system doesn't create that environment. What if we created a community? What if we created an environment that does that process? And so it's become such a natural unfoldment, and that's the sort of experience and the sort of process I want to create in this community. So, and the clean eating, the right living to me is so important. As I said, it's the foundation, because if you're struggling with self-expression, if you're struggling with some aspect of your life, it always should come back to the point of, are you grounded in yourself? Because out, outer circumstances cannot, will, I will definitely not always be ideal, but you as a person can be rooted in peace, rooted in calm, and rooted in joy. And that is cultivated through divine culture. That is cultivated through what I'm talking about. And so if you experience some of these different things, and I would open up the door and say, hey, um, come join this space if this resonates with you, if the idea of returning back to natural man, to that Adam and Eve divine consciousness, that Garden of Eden consciousness, of that resonates with you, of that cultivation of body, mind, and soul resonates with you, then I think, this is a space for you. Um, and and yeah, I just really wanted to share this. I think that's something that has come up to me in this fast, and something I wanting clarity on is, does God want me to serve in this way or not? And the answer is still coming, but it's feeling like, yeah, I need to share this message. I need to share the importance of developing the discipline within oneself, and spread the message of divine culture, because I think the change we're all seeking needs to start with ourselves, and should not end with ourselves, and should expand outwards to encompass others, our families, our our local communities. Just expand this, because the power exists within us, and the power that should not be want to keep that truth hidden from us. So when you fast, when you meditate, when you live a disciplined life, you regain your power and they lose their power. And the more people around the world can wake up and regain their power, the more this false system of deceit and corruption can lose its power and we can be the true stewards and ushers that God declared and commanded it from us. Okay, so that's all for today's video. Again, this is day 2 of the fast. Tomorrow is gonna be day 3, and interested to see how day 3 goes. It varies. Sometimes day 3 is kind of like, oh yeah, it's really starting to feel good, and you're kind of locked into, okay, I don't want to eat. Um, so I'm expecting that. Um, but we'll see. I feel like as I've started this fast and just within 48 hours, there's been so much downloads coming and so much I want to share with you all and so much I need to organize internally first within myself. So excuse me, that's taking its own energy and its own process. So beautiful to see how things are unfolding. And again, um, I'll put the link in the description of this video about the community I'm talking about creating and launching. And again, if it resonates with you, please join. Everything's free. I'm not trying to sell you anything on this. I'm just wanting to really cultivate the space for this new world that we're here to usher in. We're here to live and embody. So thanks for watching today's videos. God be with you. Peace be with you. Bliss be with you.